Jam nitty gritty, you're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is Jam High. This is Jam High.
Welcome to Who's Hot with your host, Wil Chung.
Hello, thank you for downloading the latest UKOCR Who's Hot podcast. My name is Wil Chung and I am the host. And today we are previewing Beach Ballistic, which is the fifth race of the UKOCR series. But more importantly, is the finale of the Scottish OCR series. I am here with my two elite racers. As always, Chris Shipley. Chris, how are you doing?
You all right, everyone? How's it going?
Yeah, all good, thank you. How's training going?
Yeah, it's going all right, thanks.
Just
getting back into it. A few niggles and that up in the training in preparation for the World Championships coming up, and I'm sure everyone else is doing the same thing. Hopefully,
I'm sure. And we, of course, always have our resident map geek as well, Becky Neal. Becky, hello.
Hello, how's it going, Will?
Yes, all good. How's your training going?
Good. I'm just getting my head around training. You know, I love racing, and there's kind of not a lot of racing going on in the next kind of 2 months, but we're counting down 7 weeks to the World Championships. And we're all going to be there, and exciting news announced in the last week. You know, who's made the squads and everything for age group, para, males, females, team, and everything. So that's all pretty exciting. But first, we've got the UKOCR series, of course.
Yeah, so I've seen loads of hype around that, and so many people on Instagram so happy that they've made all the squads, whether that's age group or elite squad. So already I can feel the tension rising, ready for it. As I've said, it's a special Scottish OCR crossover. So we have Russell Walsh, who is current leader, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in Scottish OCR series. Russell, hello, welcome, and thank you for jumping on to talk to us this evening.
Hello.
How are you doing? How's training?
I'm fine, yes, I'm fine. Yourself?
Yeah, all good, thank you. All good. I'm getting ready for Tough Mudder Infinity, which is in a couple of days' time. And of course, you won Tough Mudder Infinity in Scotland, didn't you?
I did.
How many kilometers did you cover?
76, I think.
Yeah.
I got the belt buckle anyways, that's for sure.
have you recovered well enough from it?
Well, I came away with a bit of a knee injury.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of mileage.
Yeah, so I was off for about a good month from that.
Really?
I'm back into training now, so.
Good.
And Russell, you've made the selection for the elite men's 15K at the World Championships.
3K as well,
and 3K.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Very annoyingly, the way they've done the videos, every time I upload it to a story, it gets everyone in, apart from me.
Oh, just a few 2 seconds too long. Well, you heard it here, everybody. Russell's on the squad. Exciting.
Make sure they click on that video then. There's a little bit in the right-hand corner or left corner. Yeah. Get a little arrow on there to click on it.
Or speak to Morgan, and he'll cut the video and just make it a bit shorter, so you get in on the end.
Morgan's probably done that on purpose, I think.
Cool.
So, Russell, thanks for jumping on. Let's just talk about you at the moment. You are current leader, and I think from our calculations, you're actually going to be the winner of the UK of the Scottish. I'm going to keep doing this, so sorry, listeners. It's just one of those things. But we believe you can't be caught on the Scottish OCR series. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it was the 3 best results out of 5 races, and I've won 4 of them. So yeah, there's no chance.
Wow.
Untouchable.
Wow.
Going for 5 out of 5. So
amazing.
That's the next goal.
Yeah. So you're going to be just that indomitable person. So you've got Beach Ballistic coming up next. We talked about Scotland in Infinity. What's going on for the rest of you for 2023?
Beach Ballistic, then the Worlds, and then after that be the British Champs down in London. I think that pretty much wraps it all up for me.
Wow.
8th of October.
Yeah.
Cool.
So was the main thing for me, is try not to pack so many races in the year. I made the mistake last year, and end up being tired for the most important races. Like so,
I think we've all made that mistake in our careers as OCR racers. I think we just want to always race everything.
Mhm.
It's a bit of an addiction or an obsession.
Yeah, definitely.
It may well pay off at Worlds, you know, a bit of variety and more exposure to racing obstacles, certainly helpful when you've got like a really technical race. It's not all
Yeah,
bad.
it's one thing I lack being up so far north. The races are just miles away, like down south. They're more technical races, like so.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard work. Right, you're not quite in Scotland now, are you? You're a bit further down. Not too
About
far.
15 miles away from the Scottish borders.
So whereabouts?
North Northumberland, so a little town called Wooler.
Yeah.
So I think I'm kind of representing Scotland really going into the Worlds.
Well, you got the accent, haven't
Yeah,
you?
and Karen. Cool.
I know Chris was really excited to get you on and maybe a quick chat. Chris, you got any questions for Russell before we start talking about beach ballistic? This might be the only chance we ever get to speak to Russell, so I think now's your chance to ask those questions that maybe everyone else is burning to ask too.
I think most people, especially my sort of friends, they just want to know how fit you are at the moment and if you're going to be a bit of competition because I've got some pals coming up with me. Well, I've got one pal coming up with me, and I'm sure he wants to see what your mustard's like. So I think your running's a bit better than mine, so I don't think I'll be a problem for you. So, but no, how are you feeling fit wise?
Yeah, good. Yeah, no, but back in it training after Tough Mudder, like so. Yeah, just working on speed, like so. It's
Some popcorn.
Gotta be able to run fast.
Yeah. What about your obstacle game? How's that?
Yeah, well, I've got a good little setup now in the garage, so I've got balls and that, like so. Yeah.
And you're a motocross guy as well, aren't you? So
yeah.
So you got the grip strength.
Yeah, I get now, like.
Yeah, nice.
I grip my hands to bits though.
Yeah, I like it. That's decent.
Yeah.
He's
I've raced
tall.
against Morgan before, like so. I know he's coming up, so he's.
No, he's not. He's not coming up. No, Morgan's not going to be there. No, Morgan's going on holiday. I told him to cancel it, but apparently he can't cancel his holiday. So yeah, unfortunately, Morgan's not going to be there. He was
on the podcast with Alan, wasn't he? And he said he was coming up. So like.
Nah, he's an idiot, and he sometimes doesn't know what day is what.
Committed yet disorganized. Come on, Morgan.
He needs to sort his life out. We did say to him he needed to quit the holiday. He needs to get on this race because I think he's tried working out the points because obviously the points work out. So he's really got to do well at the next two races, Nuts and what is it, Becky? The British Championships. Yeah, so he's got to do well at them to try and beat Dan, I think. But he could have done with coming up to Scotland.
Well, that's the thing. It's such a long way for you lot. You know, it's potentially bag yourself some good points. Like.
Well, half the reason I'm coming up is because most of you guys all come down south so much of the time. I thought, well, you guys come down south. Yeah, it's only fair that we come up and try and race each other at some point.
I watched that race, Russell, between you and Morgan. That was at Tartan Warrior, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was pretty exciting to watch, especially like towards the end with the.
He was pulling us back in, like that's for sure.
Yeah. But you had it. Yeah, cool.
So whilst we're talking about traveling, Russell, because we know that yourself and the Scottish guys do a lot of traveling, and I think it's really this is the only one that the British guys, especially those that especially down south, I'm kind of in the northwest, that it's quite a long travel to get there. So have you got any hints or tips for the guys down south in terms of getting up here and almost, I won't quite say acclimatized, but kind of getting their legs ready to run on the Saturday?
Not really. It's just running on beach. It's like running anywhere on the beach. It's hard work, like. But yeah, it was cold last year. If you're camping, it's cold. So even at this time of the year, I noticed that when I camped up there last year, it was cold during the night.
Yeah, it's never warm up there in Scotland.
Yeah, you want a good night's sleep definitely before racing to make a difference. Some people can't sleep anyway though if they're racing, so maybe it's not so bad. But yeah, wrap up warm.
And if you get the wrong wind, you're right next to the sea when you're camping as well, so you just get that breeze coming.
Noisy maybe.
No midges though. That's good.
Yeah, that is a point. Yeah.
get blown away. So they're not going to be around. Not like at Tough Mudder Infinity. Just having a quick look at the weather, actually.
Oh no, don't do it, Will. Don't
Because
do
the wind has been strong enough to blow a tent away recently.
It
Chris,
doesn't
are you
look too bad,
camping?
was it?
Are you a camper, Chris?
Am I a camper? I am.
Does he look like a camper?
No, I am. I love camping. Right. Sometimes I'll tell you a little secret. Sometimes I go outdoors just to talk to people about tent and camping. I absolutely love camping. It's one of my favourite things ever.
You love talking about camping.
I love.
So
I love camping.
So are you camping this weekend?
No.
Don't love it that much.
Yeah. Don't camp on race days. No. Professional camper.
What, you pay to live in a house?
Yeah. I camped for 6 months, Becky.
Okay.
Almost.
You did, running around the UK. Very impressive.
That is true. Yeah, we should give you that one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Have it. I love camping.
So the weather, is it windy?
Yeah, well, it doesn't look too bad at the moment. Again, we're about 10 days out from time of recording. 9 o'clock, 9:30, which is the start time. 17% chance of rain. Up to 11 o'clock is 30% chance of rain, so it's not too bad. Overcast. 13 miles an hour breeze, so it's not terrible.
Yep.
So,
every run I do, which is usually on the beach, I like to check the wind direction before I go running, and then I decide my route based on the wind direction. I've been doing that since I was a child.
Well,
and
if
so
this is of any help, to you, Becky, the wind direction is to the right of the screen.
That's not the terminology.
I know.
Southwest. Yeah, I have to flip it around in my head though, because I'm on the south coast, so I'm like essentially doing it upside down to what it would be in Scotland.
I'm assuming from the arrow it's an easterly, west to east, right? Yeah, 13.
13 is not too bad, but any wind you can feel when you're running on the beach, right? Like when you turn around, it just hits you, and it definitely makes that sand running even harder work. OCR races are usually pretty spread out, so it's hard to tuck in. You know, in a road race, people actually do tuck in behind each other into the wind, even on the prom and stuff on the beach. But that doesn't really ever happen in OCR, I don't think. Are there many like bits of like sand dunes and bits of in and out of the bushes and stuff, Russell, to kind of hide away from any potential weather?
Yeah, they do stick you in behind the sand dunes, away from the sea. But then you're running up and down sand dunes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's better.
There's no escape. Yeah.
No.
So what was the elevation? Because you done it last year, didn't you? So what was the sort of elevation you did? Or was it not a lot, but just a lot of up and down the sand dunes and then going in and out of water?
Yeah, it won't be a lot, but obviously running up and down the sand dunes, it's very energy sapping. I can remember when I finished that race, it's only 16K, so 10 miles.
Yeah.
And I was spent at the end of it, like my legs were pretty tired.
Yeah.
It felt a lot longer.
What's that running on sand? I think do some science there, Becky. So isn't running on sand like a percentage more effort than running on normal?
Yeah, it definitely takes up more effort because you lose the power because it kind of absorbs some of the power. And also if you're pushing off your toes, you're basically like slipping out from underneath yourself and you lose the power that way. So you want to do like shorter strides, more flat-footed, lifting your knees up a bit more rather than like sprinting style pushing off behind you. So yeah, high cadence is I think probably how I've ended up with such a high cadence. And yeah, head down, battle into the wind, put your knees up. Do you have any other kind of special equipment? Previous years we spent a while talking about sand and gaiters because of OCR Spartan Race Championships in Abu Dhabi and stuff. But did you see much of that at Beach Ballistic last year, Russell?
Yeah, there was a few people wearing gaiters. But yeah, I didn't bother wearing any, and I found it was all right because every time you got sand in your feet, you were back in the water and kind of washed it all back out.
Yeah,
so yeah, I didn't bother. But I think the route is different this year, so I don't know how it will be. Hopefully
I think if you're going in the water, then gaiters is a different kind of question. Maybe not so worthwhile if you're going in the water.
So just imagine
I'd probably wear wellies, to be fair.
Crocs or something. That's probably not a bad shout, is it? There's a sale on with Crocs as well at the moment.
In sports mode, you'll be away. Like,
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the course, Russell. I've got the map in front of me, but I know there's quite a long run out before you start to get to the first obstacle. But is there any particular part of the course? Is there any particular obstacles? I've got the penalty obstacles in front of me as well, if you need some help on that. But anything that the races that would need to look out for, especially people like Chris. Chris wasn't there last year, so just to keep in mind ready for next Saturday.
there is a tricky obstacle in there. It's like got climbing holds on it, but it's on a board and it's only attached from the top.
I see that earlier.
So yeah, when you get on it, if you're on it by yourself, your feet kind of go away from underneath you. That's pretty tricky. I failed that last year, but the penalty was only burpees. But I think you get time penalties this time. So I think, do you get retries on these now? Or is it one attempt? I think you get retries, don't you? I'm sure I read. But yeah, there's nothing majorly too technical. The last rig's pretty good. It's like a bit of like a multi-rig. That's quite good. But other than that, it's not too bad.
Trying to find the name of that obstacle.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the penalties as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 penalty obstacles. I'm going to name them, Russell. Hopefully you can remember what they are and just maybe give a quick description. But we've got ring out is one of the early ones. Then we've got the assault. That's
the one you was on about.
That could be it.
Rope-a-dope. Is that the one with the big crane? Is that rope-a-dope?
Yeah, rope-a-dope is the one with the rope climb off of the JCB.
In
the water.
In the sea.
Yeah. Watchtower, which is towards the end, and tech rig. They're the 5 penalty obstacles.
Yeah, the ring one might be just a couple of hooks on a metal, like on the scaffold, and you just got to slide them across.
Okay.
So again, it's not too technical, but
Like Sketch.
Yeah.
Captain Hook.
Just with a better grip.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the rig, the technical rig, that's the 5th one there, was at the end of the race last year. Is that right? And I think
right at the end.
You can actually watch the video on the website from last year, and it's got 3 rings, or very thin looking rings, to a traverse bar, to a trapeze bar, the other way around to another traverse bar, then like 3 ropes. And I think that was a bit of distance towards the end that some people struggle with, if I remember right. I wasn't there, but I think that was quite challenging to complete one part of it. I think perhaps in the women's race.
I just about nearly filled that. I just got away with it, to be fair.
So what was the sort of distance between the obstacles and the run? Did you have like quite open stretches and then going into the obstacles, or was there like sort of what's the word I'm looking for, Becky? I'm blanking.
I don't know.
We use it all the time.
What was it? What did you say?
You know when when there's a group of obstacles?
Oh, a gauntlet.
A gauntlet. Is there like a gauntlet in places? God, my mind's going blank. Was there obstacle gauntlets in sections, or was there like flat out running sections, or was it like that way?
It was a bit of both, to be fair. Like Will says, there's a good start in it where it's a lot of bits running, and then there's little bits where you have like 2 or 3 obstacles. I think like you have that ring one, and then you go straight into a carry, and then there's another one just not far behind it, and then you're way back out on the beach doing a good leg of running. There's one where you're on like you sit on the balls with the little handles, and you hop your way along.
Also known as the
have we got to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, you're joking.
No.
I wish Mark was on right now.
I'll do it for him, and it shouldn't be in there, should it? What's your take on space hoppers then, Russell?
Shouldn't be in there.
Nah.
It's probably one of the worst obstacles. That and Tough Mudder, where you have to wear them muckle planks on your feet.
Oh,
Plank, whatever they call it.
They did that in the World.
Walk this way. Walk this way.
Did that in Worlds and Euros.
But we all got lost last year.
Yes, I remember the hoo-ha.
We ended up running through Donald Trump's golf course.
I've run past that, yeah. But
So-
that's why I was so close behind Daniel Titcombe. Otherwise, he would have been a good few minutes in front of me.
Because remember, you and Kate were interviewed, weren't you, after by UKOCR, and I think you explained it then, so people can go back and listen to the podcast if they want to know the blow by blow. But I think Kate managed to see most of the signs and not get really lost. But I think other people hadn't quite noticed them. I think there was a bit where you had to go over something with some tires or something, and that was less obvious.
Well, you go through like one of them, what them buildings are, them old buildings. I can't remember what they're called.
You're blanking at me. The wall ones, aren't they? They're the wall things.
But,
Bunkers.
bunkers, yeah. And you climb through the bunker and come out like through the little windows, and the marshal's like, just run down there, and you'll come back out on the beach, and we just ran through this little water course, and next thing you know, like a chick comes running backwards.
So I guess that the thing is then is for everyone to really pay attention the whole time, because it is hard. Like I've seen plenty of other races where there's been loads of signs and stuff, but with race brain it's really hard to actually keep in touch.
I think that time it was the marshal point was the wrong way. Like.
Okay. Well, hopefully we can avoid that as well. They have quite a few volunteers, and of course it relies on that as well. There will be some technical officials going as too. So hopefully all that will be communicated before and during. Make sure you're paying attention when you're running too.
So in terms of penalties, I have found it on the Beach Ballistic Facebook page. So if you guys want to have a look, then obviously there's beachballistic.com, but also their Facebook page is /Beach Ballistic OCR. Competitive runners, obstacle penalties. Competitors in the 16K competitive wave have 4 times 5-minute penalty obstacles and 1 10-minute time penalty obstacle on failure. So they're the 5 obstacles with the penalty. So 4 of them will have a 5-minute penalty. That's a long time. And then 1 of them has a 10-minute penalty. You must attempt all obstacles, and they're all mandatory for 16 and 8K competitive runners. The time penalty obstacles will be identified when you reach it. You can have as many attempts as you like. If you fail a timed obstacle, you will not be given the coloured completion time penalty band. When crossing the finish line, the bands will be checked. This is fair in competition and protects the integrity of obstacle course racing. Fun runners, we want you to have a fantastic good time at Beach Ballistic. Enjoy every minute on the course. Here is some advice to help you maximize. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So there's 5 penalties. 5 penalty obstacles. They're all mandatory, all must complete. If you can't do them, 4 of those is a 5-minute time penalty, and 1 of those is a 10-minute penalty. You will find out on the day which one's which.
10 minutes is a huge penalty. That means if you fail that obstacle, that is potentially losing whatever place you have got and being put 10 minutes back. That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, you could rest for 2 minutes and have a 2-minute attempt and still be up.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Russell, with your experience, do you think that's the tech? Is that the tech rig? You think is that 10-minute penalty? The last one in.
I would say so. Yeah.
And how technical is that then? So did you say you had trouble with that last year, and you're quite a technical racer? So.
Yeah, so I think it was the ropes at the end. I just tried to rush them and just kind of started losing grip. But you know, it's not that difficult, to be fair. It's not that technical. You know, get your foot lock in and then get the hold properly, then you'll be fine.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay. So Chris, you'll go in. Sand is your phobia of sand and your hatred of sand, but you're doing a beach race. What's going on?
Well, yeah, I don't know why I'm doing that. I don't even know why I'm going up to Scotland. I get roped into these things. People make me do things. Are you not coming, Becky? You'll be good at this. You live on a beach.
I know. That's why I really want to do it. I'm in a different country.
Oh, yeah, wait. Jet setting again.
Well, Scotland is a different country to England.
I'm in a different country. That's what I said. Yeah.
What is jet setting? Jet setting again.
But I couldn't possibly say, that would ruin the surprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
But back to the race, I suppose. Who do we don't know anyone else who's going up from down south.
Let's go back, Chris. I've still got a couple of questions for you before.
However,
This is Yeah. You know, again, we talked about Russell coming down south all the time for the long races. What's your preparation like going up north? Because what is it? 5, 6, 7 hour drive? 8 hour drive? Might be longer than that.
I think Darren said to me yesterday that it's about an 8.5 hour drive, but I'd imagine it's going to be longer. So I've got to go up to his house on the Thursday night, and we're driving up on the Wednesday. On the Thursday night, I'm driving up to his house, and then on a Friday morning, I believe we're getting up super duper early and driving up there. And I'm going to sleep in the car, and I'm going to let him drive, and then maybe we'll listen to some of Accountability Corner on the way up there and talk about each other. But then it's just race time, isn't it?
So between kind of, let's say you're getting there Friday afternoon ish. You're racing Saturday, aren't you? So it's not a huge amount of time for a bit of a shakeout and anything else. You're just going to go for it.
Well, I hope we'll get some food. That'd be the main priority. What's the food up in Scotland? Is just normal food, isn't it?
You can get
Haggis.
haggis.
What else there? Iron brew, yeah.
Iron brew.
Haggis and white. Is it white? What's white pudding when you breakfast, isn't it?
We can have black pudding.
You have black pudding. I thought it was white pudding.
We can get both.
Yeah, it's nice.
So it's Aberdeen, right? And how close is like the campsite or the race venue to bigger things? Are we right on the edge of the town? Are we?
No. So if you want to go into Aberdeen, then you about a 5-minute drive or something like that.
Aberdeen's nice. Yeah, I remember Aberdeen was really nice last time I went there.
I'm currently 10 hours, 8 minutes drive away.
Oh, that's going to be what it's like for me.
600 miles. Ooh.
I don't know how the guys in Scotland come down all the time.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Because you've always got to account for the M25. So it might say 10 hours, but as soon as you hit the M25, that's adding another 6 or 7 hours onto whatever journey you're doing. So, yeah, not good.
And I know the listeners can't see this, but Russell was just giggling away, going, "Yeah, I do this all the time."
Just the normal, isn't it? He's got used to it.
The tough cookies.
All right, let's talk about last year's runners and riders. I've got females up. Sandy Powell in first place, Karen McQuarrie second place, Lou Ferriman third, Libby Joyce fourth, Laurie McPherson in fifth, and Wendy Brothers in sixth place. And then if we go to the male, Dan Tickham first, Russell Walsh in second place, Jack Compton in third, James Burton fourth, Jason Molam in fifth, then followed by Ramunas Wickes, Graham Eastwood, John Redman, Andrew Ballantyne, and Andy Bentley. So I guess in a way, Chris, probably not quite as stacked as what you'd see down south. Is that one of the reasons why you're going up to try and steal some points? And I guess why Russell's going, just to make sure he's pushing people down and kind of keeping ahead and march on the points.
Well, I actually just want to race Russell. I want to see what he's like. No, he's part of the British obstacle team, and it's, we got to see how other races race, and it's good to race other races because it gets a feel for what's going out there. And although we're racing against each other, we are all part of this big OCR sort of family in the UK. And when we go over the worlds, we really want to sort of show that we are decent enough to compete. Yeah, united and decent enough to compete with other obstacle races in Europe and America and wherever the hell they come from.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
We'll be enemies on the start line though.
Yeah, but after you beat me, you can buy me a beer or something. I'll have a pint.
I totally agree though.
Yeah.
I think every other race, we're always out to beat each other, but I think when we go to Worlds, it'll be a little bit different. Obviously, we'll be a team there, so.
That's it.
Yeah.
And Russell, in terms of points, you're mainly going just to keep, I guess keep on competitive, but keep pushing people down, making sure that you're as dominant as you really want to be. Yeah,
well, obviously my original goal was to win the Scottish series, and then after I won that and won Tough Mudder, which I was quite happy about, seems I did no ultra training since all of 2023. Really, I haven't run any ultra distances. So I was quite happy with that. And then now it's to win 5 out of 5. That's the next goal. So.
Who do you reckon your biggest competitor is coming, or would be your biggest competitor coming from down south would be to take you off that?
Well, if Morgan was coming up, I know I'd be working hard to beat Morgan. Like so, I think my running ability is a little bit better than Morgan. So
yeah,
I think
he'd agree with you.
I think I would say it's probably a bit more of a runner's course. But yeah, he can change very quickly in that sand.
But are you over 10 minutes faster if you make a mistake?
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
On one race, he doesn't.
And then obviously, I don't know if Daniel's coming up, but he's
the one to watch at the moment.
Next
100%.
level.
Yeah, I don't think Dan's. I don't know what Dan's sand running ability is like, but he's quite light-footed. So if he's going to be running, he'll be running fairly quick on sand because he can seem to run on anything, can't he?
Yeah.
But if Jason Brunnett was coming up, do you reckon he'd be giving you a bit of a match?
Definitely. Yeah. I've raced against Jason once before, and he beat me. Like it was last year down in London. I won the Spartan races.
Yeah, he's a decent runner.
Yeah.
Strong on the hills equates to quite strong on sand usually as well.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so let's go to current standings on the Scottish side. We have, of course, Russell Walsh in first place at the moment, 2,000 points, 4 from 4. Can't be caught. Craig McQueen, SBF, 4 races, 1,610 points. Quite close behind him, though, is Graham Eastwood, Fit Body Farm Freestylers, 1,480 points. That's about 130 points difference there. John Gregg, 1,350, and Zach Beattie, 1,344. So actually, it's still all to play for, especially the second to fifth. Actually, going down two more places. Christopher Murray, 1,336, and Barry Mitchell, 1,318. So even between, I would say, third and seventh, there's a lot to play for there. So there's, if someone does quite well, then they're going to be pushing up some places. What do you think to those runners, Russell? Do you think anyone's got any better chance to maybe push themselves up there?
One name you didn't mention is Gavin. He's a bit of a dark horse, I think. He didn't do so well. He didn't do very well in Tough Mudder. I don't think he was out to try and do massively well. But yeah, he can run like.
Yeah, and I think he's switched his training up a bit now. Now that he's finished his high rock season and he's coming into the OCR season, he's probably starting to prep a bit more as well for the World Championships. So I think he's probably specialising a little bit more. And like I say, I've raced him before. He is a dark horse.
Yeah.
And I think you've probably got more wins out of the two of you when you've actually raced each other. But he is always there. Yeah, very good racer. Mm-hmm. But it should be. He's got his own course.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
So Gavin's down in 14th place, 813 points. He's only ran twice or two of the Scottish OCR races, so won't figure in the final. But actually, as you mentioned, he's a great runner and will push people down. So if people can get in front of him, whilst the other contenders maybe are behind him, it gives them the push with the extra gap in points. Let's go over to the female side, because I was trying to work out the numbers here. So we've got Sandy Powell, currently SBF, currently in first place, 1,415. Karen Macquarie, Fit Body Farm Freestylers, 1,365. Libby Joyce, 1,230 points. Julie Sheeran, 1,133 points. Anna Wade, 1,101 points. Then a bit further down, we've got Kate Stillwell in 6th, Isla Horsberg in 7th, Sancho Martin 8th, Lindsay Carino in 9th, and Susan Jarman in 10th. The way I kind of looked at these numbers, Sandy has almost got it tied down, but Karen actually can win it. She's got enough points to get a win to push herself up, and then it's down to how Sandy's going. So any particular thoughts on that battle there, or so? Assuming they're both going to be going.
Yeah, I assume they'll be going. Yeah. To be honest, I'm not too sure on them. I think Sandy's probably the better runner out of them all, so she's probably got the best chance of securing the title. But I would think Karen won't be too far behind. But if Becky comes up, she can put her foot in the mix and stir things up. And say with Libby, I don't know if Libby's coming up. I don't know how she fares against with all them running.
She's quite light-footed as well, so
yeah,
she could do. But how well did Lou Ferryman do last year? Didn't she do quite well at Beach Ballistic?
I think Lou was third. I think was it Sandy, then Karen, then Lou, then Libby. It was a bit tricky with the results last year. I think with the timings and things. It took a little while to process the results. So sorry if I've got those wrong. And at one point I thought Kate was there, but I think that was one of the early races this year that I was thinking of. So Sandy, she's done a lot of races. She raced there last year. Was strong. All round. She's been training more and more on the obstacles. You can see it in her videos. Her obstacles are looking really strong at the moment. So if I was her, I wouldn't be worried about that final rig. So, that sometimes that 10 minutes can play a bigger factor in the women's race with fewer people completing those rigs sometimes. So I think some of it will come down to just making sure that's executed right first time. I have confidence in Sandy, Karen, Lou, Libby, all of those people. Karen has definitely come a long way this year. I think she's beaten me twice. So she's got faster and better at obstacles through all the training at Fit Body Farm. So I would really like to see those two go head to head, see where they're at, especially over that distance and on the beach. It is grueling terrain. And if Kate still turns up, then I think we've got an even more exciting race. She's done well in the other Scottish races this year. It is a longer journey as well for her.
She's gone up to Scotland quite a few times, so she's not afraid to make that move.
And right now she's in 6th, but she's on 1,000 points, and the person ahead of her has only got one more point, but they've done one more race. And so, with 300 points going for first, she can jump all the way up to third, top 3 potentially, if Libby doesn't go, or she can be that person that gets in the way between people's scores and makes the difference in the final standings. So I think if Kate attends, that would be a real big fuel to the fire. I think Isla's just sticking to high rocks now, maybe. Not sure.
What if Josie turns up?
Good point. Yeah,
I mean, she's
beaten
just
everyone
come back.
recently.
Yeah, she's been to the United States, did a really, really good result down in the Spartan Palmerton race. Yeah. And podiumed at Savage race as well. Yeah, really good. Phenomenal runner. She's got a bit of Achilles issues, but I don't think she'll have any problems on the sand. So
strong uphill as well.
Amazing uphill.
Yeah.
Kate's only on, was she on 1,000 points?
1,000, yeah.
So she's won 2 of her races that she's done. So if she comes up and wins this race,
Sorry, it must be 500 points in the Scottish series.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah. So if she comes up and wins this race, then she'll be the overall winner.
Okay.
We'll go 6 straight.
3 for 3, yeah. Same as you, but with one less. And also that would impact the UKOCR series too. So it's a bit of a hard one to deny, or a bit of a tease for Kate. I think unless she's got a good reason not to, then it's quite a tempting race to attend.
Have you spoken to Kate recently?
Not very recently. No, I haven't asked. I'm sure we'll find out before the race begins. But this will have to be a tease for the podcast still.
Go on, Kate. Come up there. Or get up there. Come up there's not the
She's
right
good
term.
at finding a way. She'll find a way if she can.
Okay, let's go over to the UK OCR series. Start with females. Who have we got? Come back to me, please. Fedi in first place, 1,780 points. Josie Lloyd in second, only 30 points behind, 1,750 points. Our own Becky Neal, third place, 1 race behind, 1,285 points. Karen Quarry, 1,167, and only a couple of points behind. Tamar Barkley, 1,164 points. 6th, we've got Louise Ferriman. 7th, we've got Libby Joyce. 8th, Cheryl Beach. 9th, Shelley Tompkins. And 10th, Ruth Battersea. Becky, who do you think is going to go up? We kind of talked about Karen already, but we've got Josie, who may be going up. Anyone else you think is going to go up and start to steal a march on some points and races for the British UKOCR series?
Well, I can't remember what Freddie said in the end. I've forgotten. Sorry. We were focusing so much on what they're doing the weekend that will have just happened.
Yeah.
I think they were talking about going to Scotland. But maybe not. I've forgotten.
They love an OCR holiday, though, don't they? So
so that
they'll
was
probably get up there.
Feddy and Ferg was always going to affect the standings. So they're key players in this whole game. But yeah, I think Josie is definitely one that would continue. I think Tamar's been very dedicated, and if they get a whole gang going from Wild Forest, a road trip, then we might see a few more come travel together. Do you know of any other road trips, Chris, from perhaps Alex Young and Tamar and the Young family? Or
I don't know, but I want to send out some messages to try and find out, do some digging. Should have done that before this podcast.
I was going to say, come on.
Well, I forget, don't we? Because we're back in time, aren't we? So I meant to do the digging ahead of time. But,
yeah. And likewise with the Ferrymans, I think another good family holiday for the Ferrymans potentially, and Libby is always dedicated to traveling to races. So they went last year, so maybe they'll think, oh, we know how it works now. I'm going to go back and see how much we can take on. Or they might think the opposite and think, we did that one last year, won't do it this year. But I think there's definitely opportunity, especially in the women's race, to get some points for either series. So go for it. Tell each other, share lifts. If you're going to drive, we'll try and get more people there. I think is it only £45 race entry?
Yeah, it's well cheap.
Yeah,
well cheap. It's cheaper than the transfer price for Spartan.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about that. But I thought the transfer price was only 20 quid. Or it's still a lot of money, but 20 quid.
I just tried doing it earlier.
Jesus. Anyway.
So there's other people traveling to Sweden at the same time. Quite a few of the women, like Megan.
Oh yeah, is that the same date?
Yeah.
Oh.
What's going on? Sorry.
There's a couple of races in Sweden on the same weekend, which people have been invited to and shared around. So there's a couple of girls going on a bit of trip, which would take them out of the series race.
Yeah, I didn't realise that was this weekend or that weekend.
The 4th.
The following. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, crikey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go over to the male side of the series. First, Jason Brunnock, 1,720 points. Fergal Keeney, 1,515 points. Dan Titcombe in third place with 3 races, 1,465 points. Matt Roberts, who's doing well, he's starting to really push it. Primal Fitness, 4 races, 1,385 points. Morgan Maxwell, 3 races, 1,365 points, followed by 1 point just behind John Redman, 4 races, 1,364 points. Then Dascanella, 1,175 points. 8th place is James Burton. 9th place, Alex Young. And 10th place is Ramunas Wickis. So actually, kind of towards that mid-pack, all very, very tight. Chris, Becky, do you know anyone that's going up making that trip?
Darren Martin is. Chris Shipley is. That's the only 2 I know. Is Das going up, is he?
No, he's working and then
What about James? Is James coming up?
Yeah. I don't think he is this year, no.
Oh, I was about to say he must be, but
can't do everything.
I'm sure I've seen somewhere where he says he wasn't going.
Yeah, I thought so too.
What happened to that Cole, that good runner? Is it Cole?
Yeah,
Bell.
Yeah.
And he lives up north.
Well,
could be a good shout for him. It might be the reason why he missed out on Total Warrior.
Cole Bell's only ran 1 race so far this year. 385 points. What was that? 2nd place? 3rd place? In that race?
Further down. Wasn't it Spartan race? The Spartan first
one.
Yeah,
he was at Spartan,
yeah.
Jack Carpenter.
Jack could go up. Jack's actually been known to travel to Scotland quite a few times.
Yeah, maybe you go with Libby.
The only difference is it's 16k, and I do know that he's trying to concentrate on the shorter distances this year. So if you train at a higher volume, and you can always come back down, so it's good to race high. So I've been told.
All right. So although we don't have a start list, guys, I am going to ask you for your tips on who's hot. Russell, let's go with you. Who do you think are people to watch?
I'll be watching Chris Shipley.
Well, you're going to be turning your head backwards a lot. Then.
A lot backwards winning.
Yeah, it's hard to say without knowing actually who's going up. So
Top 3. Let's just make it up. What do you reckon?
it's,
What
I'll stand on the start line and
What is
figure out
that?
then.
That's a mighty big pencil you got there, Becky.
I've just got whacked down my giant pencil. Yeah. Carry on. Nothing to see here. Sorry, Russell. You were saying top 3.
Well, I'm going to stick myself in there somewhere.
Yes.
Chris, you're coming up, so I'll stick you in there. And then, I don't know. Who are you bringing up? Is it Darren?
Yeah, Darren.
Yeah, I'll
And
stick him in
Morgan.
next. They're the
Yeah,
only 3
Morgan's
people I
not
know.
Darren's running Darren has been running really, really quick times at the moment. And if you say it is a runner's course, he has got potential to run good if he doesn't get anxiety and scared about all the obstacles.
I was
I'll
interesting
take him
actually.
out on the start line then.
I reckon you could psych him out. Sorry, Darren, this isn't going to make it even worse for you. But I've been listening to Accountability Corner, and I was very surprised actually to hear some of your insights.
So we
really,
always
really
think that.
interesting, really interesting.
Although you probably lit a bit of fire in his belly saying that.
And I also think Darren will be really good at the carries. You know, isn't this race got quite a few tough carries? Because I remember Libby mentioning it last year. You know, up a steep sand dune carrying something very heavy for a 15.
Yeah, there's one of them where you have to carry a barrel, and you're not allowed to put it over your head. You've got to carry like on your stomach
Old
height.
school. Okay.
Yeah, and that's at like steps. So that's hard. It's I've gone up steps, and then you have like sandbags in your hands. And
see, Darren will be good at that.
Yeah, Darren is one of the best carriers in the country, probably.
And wasn't there the bucket that had a hole in it, so you had to kind of run as fast as you can to try and not allow as much water? So that's a carry, but a slightly different, not so heavy carry, but just trying to be fast and not allow the water to leak out the bottom or something. That was one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's an interesting obstacle. They, I think that was originally brought out by the Elements with Matt Smims back in the day, and it is a really tricky obstacle because you want to keep that bucket light, so not overfill it, but then still have enough water to carry it round. So I'll be bringing some corks in my pocket. Race smart.
Yeah, there's no given line on the bucket.
Is it not?
It's literally just the marshal who kind of dictates whether you filled it enough or not.
That's harsh.
And, yeah, Daniel got sent back. He didn't take long to pass his back leg. But
And what about in terms of the course markings? We've mentioned about how it sometimes needs to go off course and go in the wrong direction. But what about staying within the course boundaries? Because that's been a bit of a point of conversation recently at Tough Mudder with ditches and stuff. So, I mean, everyone should do the obstacle if it's meant to be an obstacle. But when you're running through dunes and stuff, like, do you have to pick a line? Do you follow each other? Is it really obvious to stay next to the tape? What's it like?
Yeah, it is pretty obvious. If you're running on the dunes, then you kind of stick to that one track through the dunes. Or if you're heading in a certain direction, it is pretty self-explanatory up there.
Nice.
I say that, and we all got lost last year, but yeah, no, it's actually not too bad.
Okay, good. What about the women, Russell? What are you saying? Have a guess.
Karen, put Karen up there. Yeah, I don't know. Depends who turns up.
Yes, we'll see.
You probably put the top 3 off the Scottish series in there.
Sandy, Karen, and Libby's actually third.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts then, Becky, on females?
Well, I think if Josie or Kate turn up, I think they have a chance of winning. I think they could take it away from potentially Karen and Sandy, just on the kind of maybe next level running abilities. But that 10-minute time penalty, you know, if I've seen some Spartan races recently, and some of the women haven't been able to complete that final rig, and if it's that kind of scenario where they're running ahead but then they don't make that, 'cause it's just one attempt, right?
No,
No,
you
it's
can
many.
keep doing it.
Oh, that
As many
changes
attempts.
everything in that case.
Yeah, that's a bit.
It's a must complete
Right.
as many
okay.
attempts as you need.
Yeah, and it is hard to achieve it eventually if you get tired from doing it many, many times. But yeah, I was thinking that the execution might be vital first time, but it's not so vital if you can repeat it. In that case, that's even more close cut, I think. But I think all of these people are great at obstacles. It would only be like a mistake that they were, or just getting used to the obstacle that would mean that they couldn't complete that. So I don't think there'll be any 10-minute time penalties for any of the top 5. So yeah, it'll come down to running and then running uphill and on the sand with buckets and stuff. So I think all of those people potentially are good at that style of racing. You know, like I've been overtaken up hills by I think every single one of these people. so I think that they're all kind of similar athletes who have potential definitely to be on the podium in this race. So it'd be really exciting to see them race head to head. I think it'll be coming down to who goes out fastest. Like in these races, especially over long distance, it's really hard to gain places. So I think it will come down to who goes out fast and then stays and like doesn't fall apart. So you've got to have a bit of confidence, I think, to win this race.
You still didn't name any names, did you? Did I just miss that?
Kate, Karen, Sandy.
Karen, Sandy, nice. And what about the males, Becky?
Dan, Russell, Darren.
Okay. Right.
Just saying.
I'm just going to pick everyone now. Rather than going through everyone. No, the women, I think Becky's got it. It's really difficult to choose who's going to be on top when we don't really know who's going to turn up. But if anyone from down south was going to turn up, then you're going to have, out of anyone that could turn up, I'd say Josie, then Sandy, and then Karen on the women's side. But if it was the men's side, I would say Russell, Darren, Gavin.
And where do you think you'll place,
Gavin.
Chris?
Damn, Gavin ahead of Darren.
Hopefully I'm not far behind. I'd like to beat Darren, to be fair. If I could beat anyone on that day, Darren would be the person I'd like to beat, because I don't like losing to Darren and he always makes me feel bad about it.
So it's your whole journey just going to be...
It will be a whole journey of, stuff.
And the return journey will also be...
The thing is, right, we had this conversation yesterday because we have a little tally chart every year about who wins more races. And at the moment, I'm 3 on his 2. So I've beaten him 3 times to 2 times this year.
So
and I'm not... Turn. Yeah, well, no, it's not his turn, Becky. 15K, he doesn't usually beat me on anything over the 10K. So, but... And I don't like the fact that he had higher attribute points than me the other day as well, which I wasn't happy about. And I've spoken to Mo about this because Mo doesn't realise that I kicked Darren's ass at an arm wrestle. So technically, I am stronger than Darren.
We did have the arm wrestles at the UKOCR award series.
And who won, Becky?
Tell us, Chris. Tell us who won.
It was me. I have video evidence. I beat everybody.
Congratulations. Well, Des is going to buy an arm wrestle table, so watch out for next year.
Oh my god!
Oh, is he? He didn't step up last year. This year,
because he was worried he'd embarrass you.
Right, that's it. I'm coming down to Ethel Sparta, and that's it. It's going down.
But yeah, I think Gavin will actually do quite well. So you and Darren can have your little fight. But watch out for Gavin running past at the same time, I think.
Yeah, I think Gavin will win.
If you're not used to running over 14 miles, then you'll struggle, I think. I know it's only about 10 miles, but realistically, you're probably worth
the duration.
Yeah.
And
I haven't done any sand training.
Will Chris actually start? Because once he gets on that beach, you're like, I don't want this, and just walk away.
I can handle it. I control my brain. No, is that right?
Mm.
I control my body. my brain or something like that.
Not right now, you don't.
No, not right now.
All right, guys, thank you very much for your picks. So you're still not too late, whilst you're listening to this, still not too late to book into Beach Ballistic. If you want to book in, as we mentioned earlier, it's £45 plus fees, so it's only £47.19 to join in the fun at Beach Ballistic. If you want to go there, it's beachballistic.com. It is on Saturday, 5th of August. I think it's 9 or 9:30, I can't quite remember, but 9 o'clock Saturday morning. My thanks to Russell Walsh for joining us today and having a chat with us. You can find Russell on Instagram at Walshy4972. My thanks, as always, to my two Elite Racing co-hosts. We've got Chris Shipley, Obstacle Race Dude, and Becky Neal at the Runner Bean UK. I know we have plugged it a few times, but if you haven't already, please do download and listen to the latest podcast, Accountability Corner, that hosts, Chris is one of the hosts at, and you can follow them at _accountability corner. You can follow the rest of the team. So we have got at UKOCR. If you haven't followed them already, why not? You're listening to this podcast, so you really should be. If you want to follow along everything Scottish obstacle course racing, you go at Scottish OCR. And of course, our supporters is British at British Obstacle Sports. My name is Wil Chung. This has been Who's Hot / Who's Scott, previewing the Scottish and UK OCR series of Beach Ballistic. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun.